Peace, love, and light, family. I hope the sun is shining wherever you are and you're living in your greatest purpose. Coming on here to bring a message. If you find this message resonates, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I am coming on here to speak on a subject, and that is a subject of life and death. It is important that we know that, well, first and foremost, death, life are both parts of cycles. And similarly, we say beginnings and endings are part of a normal part of a cycle. And what I want to speak on specifically is that it's important to celebrate life, not necessarily death. We celebrate life, not death. And why do I say that? A lot of folks may kind of feel some type of way about that. A lot of folks may say, well, don't we want to celebrate death because it represents the ending? And oftentimes it's the ending of something that brings about the beginning. And this subject came about because a lot of times you see folks celebrating their loved ones. They celebrating the anniversary of their loved ones passing. And if you really think about it, when you focus or put energy towards that life leaving the planet, it's a different type of energy than the celebration of that person's life. When you celebrate that person's life, you celebrate everything, every value, all the energy, all that is living in that person. You celebrate all aspects of their life, of their energy. You celebrate also the things that are still connected in you, especially when you're talking about the transition of a loved one, okay? Because that person has a personal connection with you. That person has some aspect, or you have some aspect of that person's energy, creative energy, whatever energy it is. You have some aspect of that person's energy within you. And when you celebrate the life of that person, you also celebrate all aspects, all energy of that person within you. And you acknowledge that what's powerful, or what's most powerful within that person, is also what's powerful within you. And you celebrate that connection. You celebrate that connection. And in some ways, when you celebrate life and the life of the person, you're celebrating everything that connects you to the cosmos, to that person. And many of us know that, and we've probably had more than one experiences where even though that person has transitioned, we still feel the life of that person within us. We still feel that person's energy within us. So a lot of times the universe reminds us that that connection is still there. And this is why this is actually the thing that reminds us that of this whole death and rebirth cycle. is when we look at the transitioning of someone, we think about them, we think about what they stand for, we think about their energy, and a lot of times we see the qualities of that person within us. In fact, many of us celebrate the gifts that we have, the spiritual gifts that we have come from those who have transitioned, those who came before us. And every time we put those creative gifts to use, every time we use those creative gifts, it is actually a means of celebrating the life of that person. And so you see, this is part of the reason why it's important that we celebrate life. We celebrate the life of those who have transitioned before us. Because in celebrating their life, we celebrate ours. We celebrate the energy of living. We celebrate the energy of breathing, which is a meditation. So, in celebrating life, especially the life of those who have transitioned, we celebrate our very own life. And we tell the universe that we value that life, that we value what it is that we're doing, that we value our creative gifts, that we value our spiritual gifts. So continue to celebrate the life of those who have transitioned. As you do that, you're celebrating yours. In fact, you will also find that your life is going to have a lot more meaning. You're going to see a lot more meaning in the life that you're living as you celebrate theirs. It's interesting because, what we refer to as death, and some cultures say transition, because in Western culture, what we call death, many cultures call transition, because we know that it's not the end as we say it is. And the word death oftentimes represents the end. And Western culture celebrates a lot of that energy. Many cultures say the word transition because we know that, very much like the magician, it's a transmutation. It's a transference. It's a transference of energy from one form to another. It is not the end of a particular energy. It is just transference of energy. And so we say transition because we acknowledge that that energy that used to be in the physical and now encompasses all aspects of what we call life, of what we call balance, what we call nature and the cosmos. The life of that person that we celebrate also means that we celebrate the power that we have connected to that person. So we celebrate transitions. So continue to celebrate transitions as you continue to celebrate your transitions. Because celebrating the transition of a loved one really means that you're celebrating your transition in this realm. So as you're celebrating the transition of those who have come before you, that have now transitioned to another realm, you remember you're also celebrating the transitions, the many changes that you are also going through, that you're also seeing. It's important to celebrate those transitions and acknowledge those transitions and acknowledge that we are never the same person. Not even every day, not even every second. We're constantly changing. And we celebrate those changes. Even though a lot of times, a lot of folks would rather we don't change. Those who may not understand or understand the importance and power of changes may want you to stay the same. And if you really look at it, staying the same means staying stagnant. Staying the same means no growth. Staying the same means your growth is stunted. So continue to celebrate life, the life of those who have transitioned, because you're also celebrating your very life and the power that you possess with that life. So that power is in knowing and being reminded that transitions are powerful, changes are powerful. And as we celebrate death and rebirth, we celebrate the rebirth. We celebrate the rebirth because it is truly a very powerful aspect of this life and death, or life and transition cycle, that we are often reminded of so often. So celebrate the life. Celebrate the life of those who have transitioned. Celebrate their birthdays. Celebrate the memory of them coming on the planet and leaving such a powerful, powerful impression, which is you. So as you celebrate the life of those you love, you celebrate your very life. You celebrate your very power on this planet. And you also are reminded that you are on a mission, and you tend to take it more seriously, and you live life as if you are living with purpose. So continue to celebrate their life, and you will continue to celebrate your own and your purpose and power. Peace, love, and divine.